As a momtrepreneur, you know you need to continue learning and educating yourself, but finding the best business books is not always easy. There are a ton of business books out there, but not all are created equal. Now, I've read a lot of books, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So here is my list of the best business books I've read. I am an information junkie to the point of it being a fault. And I would love to stay in the realm of consuming information rather than putting it into practice. It's just easier that way. So I say all that to say I've read a lot of books and I brought you my top 11. So when I first did this post, it was 8. So now we're up to 11. So my top 11 best business books. And it is not easy to find time to invest in your education. You know you need to keep learning and growing, but how do you pick the best business books to read? Like everything else you do, this requires intentional planning and good recommendations. Hey mom, so welcome to the Life Unboxed podcast where we talk about all things momtrepreneur. From raising your kids to running a business, and the most important, keeping your sanity. I am Jodie the mom, a successful virtual assistant and a homeschool mom of 6 for almost 10 years now. My goal is to give you as much help as possible so you can confidently start a business and homeschool your kids. So be sure to visit lifeunboxed.blog for more great momtrepreneur content. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video because I try to give everything as much as possible. I try to give away for free because I want you to be able to to have all the tools you need to successfully homeschool and work from home. So that is just your part that I need you to do is subscribe and like this video. So now let's get into this week's topic. Okay, so my top 8 best business books plus 3 more. These are my favorite books. I thought they were so good. I listened to the audiobook from the library and then I bought the physical book for most of them anyway. I'm a visual learner, so if it was good, I bought the book for future reference. Now, these are not listed in any particular order. These are just books I would highly recommend. And some of them do contradict each other, but I am all for hearing both sides of the discussion and distilling the best ideas from both. So there isn't one best book for business. It really does require reading wide and reading often in order to get the best and most information. Okay, so for the first one on the list, and I have it here, that is Story Brand by Donald Miller. Now, this was one of the books that was completely overhyped, and so I resisted reading for so long. But let me tell you, it over delivered. It was a great book to focus on what I wanted to do and how to tell a story. So it was so good. I listened to the audio version and then I bought the book so I could go through and highlight it. And you won't regret investing time or money in this book. And let me just say, none of these are affiliates. I'm not making any money off of any of these recommendations. So everyone loves a good story, and he really shows you how to incorporate story into your business marketing model. The book also gives you the structure of story so you can plan your business story with step by step guidance. All right, so the next one is Entree Leadership by Dave Ramsey. I bought I thought this book was really good. It gave a lot of practical advice for leading a team. It is so good. I actually had my 13-year-old at the time read it, and he definitely has leadership qualities. He just needs to add some wisdom and maturity to those qualities. So, if you manage a team or plan to manage a team, or just have worked under bad leaders, you should read this book because it will give you clear principles on what a good leader is and does. So, leadership is a responsibility that is often given, but a skill that is rarely taught. So, Dave Ramsey's company has been named on the best places to work in Nashville, I think like 10 times, at least at the time that I read the book. And so he seems to be a leader that practices what he preaches. So, a good leader to take advice from. The next book is Start with Why by Simon Sinek. And the premise of this book is to go beyond what you do and really dig deep and build your business on why you do it. Why is what inspires you and continues to motivate you to do what you do. As I started to pivot my virtual assistant business, this book really helped me to think through why and what I wanted to do. And I determined that what I really wanted to do was help small businesses be successful by taking some of the frustrating must haves off their plates. So even if I eventually change how I do this or what I do, my why will never change. I find Simon Sinek to be a refreshing idealist, so it counters my cynical side sometimes. I heard someone say that if you scratch the surface of a cynic, you find an idealist. And that would be me. It is good to hear from an idealist who seems to be making this work. So the next book, no, I don't have the physical copy of it, but it is in my Audible account. But it's Great at Work by Morton T. Hansen. And this book can be summed up with one phrase: do less and then obsess. When you're starting out building your business, you can have the tendency to say yes to everything because you're building. And this book will help you focus on what is the most important to you. In any business, there are many stages. And if you're not at the point that you feel like you can focus on less, that's okay. You can still start a virtual assistant business without knowing your niche. But if you want help, this is a great business book to read. And then the next one is Grit by Angela Duckworth. And this book was so good that I bought it and I added it to my oldest son's 8th grade curriculum. I have never seen myself as this highly talented or gifted individual, but I do possess a tenacity to see things through until the end. No one, and I mean no one, can outwork me. And this book focuses on that quality. So when I was in college, I decided to teach myself how to play the guitar. I am not musically inclined, and I had a lot of people around me who were very good, but I knew I possessed one quality. I was gritty enough to work hard at it, and I did teach myself to play the guitar. Now, don't get me wrong, I can't slay it like Santana or Jimi Hendrix, but I was happy with what I could do. If you are a mom that possesses this quality, then this is a must read for you. If you are someone who has a lot of talent, then this book is also for you. It will inspire you to be gritty. All right, the next one is Range by David Epstein or Epstein, however you want to say it. If you are a generalist living in a specialist world, then you need to read this book. And he does get a little into the weeds on some of the points he is making. But if you can get past that, he makes some great points. And these points really challenge the accepted ideas and explore outside of the box, which is exactly what I needed. Our culture is obsessed with specializing. In every business book, business law, blog, or education, there is a constant push to specialize in something. So the author very systematically dismantles this idea because with everything so focused on specializing, we need to take apart the accepted norm and truly change our thought process when it comes to how we look at job skills, building a business, and how we learn. So I am a generalist living in a specialist world. Is anyone else with me? Because it's a really lonely place to be when you know how to do 50 different things well. Like, try and write a resume. Okay. Just try and write a resume. It's very difficult to do. or get a client. And they're like, well, what can you do? Anything? You name it, I can do it. Anyway, moving on. So this was a great book. I highly recommend this book. Next is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So, this is another author that challenges the accepted norms when it comes to goal setting. And I have to say, I have grown to despise all the mantras and how to's when it comes to goal setting for one very good reason. They don't work. Whether you're setting smart goals or smarter or the big, hairy, scary, whatever, nothing works. And let me just say this, SMART goals came out in 1981, and yet we still haven't, I think it's 92% of people say they don't accomplish their goals. Maybe after 40 years, it's time to say something doesn't work. Anyway, that was just a side note. So, and yes, when I do all these systems, I follow all the steps and the to-dos. And you know what ends up happening? Happens. Kids get sick, days, weeks, even months get hijacked by things I cannot foresee or plan for, and my goals end up by the wayside. So now that I've given you my rant, I will tell you why this book was so refreshing. He doesn't focus on goals. He focuses on creating systems to improve yourself and reach goals a little bit every day. The focus is to make 1% improvement every day. For example, if you want to write a book, don't try to jump in with a goal of writing 500 words every day because that's what all of the seasoned authors will tell you to do. So that you can have it all done in 4 months to reach 60,000 words, right? So, more than likely, if you aren't used to writing, you will get burned out and stop. Instead, get into the habit of writing a little bit every day. Take 2 minutes and just write. The thing is to do it every day. As you improve, then add 2 more minutes. Eventually, you're going to train your mind and body to really focus on this time. So, the next book is on my Kindle, so I can't show it to you. But that's How to Make a Living with Writing by Joanna Penn. If you want to incorporate writing into your business or even make a business with your writing, then I highly recommend this book, and her other ones I think are great. I do not have, well, I guess I do because I have a blog. I was going to say I don't have a business writing, but I guess I do because I do have a blog. But I just find all of her stuff to be very practical and to the point and very information rich. And so, even with like the practical things like marketing, you can apply that to your business, whether you're writing or not. And I also listen to her podcast, The Creative Pen, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. She is a self published author and really gives practical advice on how to do it. Next is The Long Game by Dorie Clark. And maybe it was the timing of when I listened to this book, but it was exactly what I needed to hear at the time. So she takes you through how long it takes to start a business and the work she had to put into her business to really start seeing success. Like she breaks down the timelines and everything. Building a business is really hard. There are a lot of emotional stages that you go through. So this book will encourage you to keep going and give you a time frame for success. Next is To Pixar and Beyond by Lawrence Levy. And I really like to read biographies of successful businessmen and women because they were once starting out and they can take you through their journey. And the honest ones are the best, especially when they take you through all the ups and downs. There was so much that I didn't know about Pixar. I've always been a fan of most of their movies, but learning about the early years was incredibly encouraging. Um, because we all start at the start and we need to hear the stories of those who persevered. And it was a lot of fun to listen to. So I would highly encourage you to grab that audiobook. And finally, George Lucas by Brian J. Jones. I am a huge Star Wars fan. You know, the one who doesn't like the new sequels because they ruined the story. But that's for another time. So, this biography of George Lucas was fabulous. He has had more failures than successes. His successes have just been wildly successful. So, if you want to understand the struggle of starting out and bringing an idea to success, then you need to read this book. And for me, I will probably listen to it again in the near future. Mom, your reading list should be bursting right now. So let me know in the comments if there are any other books that caused an aha moment for you. I'm always looking to learn and read a good book, of course. So tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite business book and why would you recommend it to us? I am so glad you joined me today. If you want to help spread the word, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Again, we have to appease the algorithm gods. And you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you happen to be listening to them. And remember to check out lifeunboxed.blog for your one-stop shop for everything you need to work from home and homeschool. And I will see you in the next show.